Hello everyone, welcome to our part 3 of our video on the Avro Vulcan. If you've been following along so far, we've got an airplane that has been started, and of course, so we've done a little bit of navigation and kind of cruise things, and now we're going to be dealing with getting this thing down on the ground, which is an interesting process, to say the least. Let's get started. So first things first, we're currently on our way into Albany International Airport. And keeping it relatively simple there. I can actually zoom in a little bit. And you'll actually be able to see that airport coming up in just a little while. One of the things we were doing before is kind of walking you through the different controls. I could see got about 18 nautical miles out in order to get to that particular destination. So we're not far. So what we're going to be doing is flying an ILS approach, and keeping it relatively simple as far as that goes. I'm going to bring my nose up just a little bit. This thing is a little picky. I'm actually going to shut off the automatic pilot completely because this thing just... it's old. It has a different way of doing things, and you just have to kind of be ready for that. So to get us all set up on that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to float over here. I'm going to go ahead and set my ILS frequency here, which is going to be 109.500. I'm just going to hold the mouse over here and wheel that a little bit, which gets me all set up. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick on my ILS course. My ILS course today is, take a look here, it's going to be 11 degrees. So I'm going to grab this heading index, or I should say my regular index. I'm going to drag this all the way to 11 degrees. Of course, it helps if you drag things in the correct direction when you are dragging. There we go. Almost there. We got a 10, 11, just 11 degrees. Delightful. And now what we're going to do, of course, is we're going to go ahead and make sure we're set to ILS mode. So I'm going to go ahead all the way to the right here. This is going to give us glide path. And we can even come over here and set approach. So we're good to go. Good time, of course, to go flip on our terrain following radar, or I should say our radar altimeter is technically what we want it to be there. And it's going to give us a little warning light just to say that it's kind of warning there. Now, one of the neat things about the indicator on here is you can actually see very clearly the relationship of us versus where we're trying to go. You can see that we're almost perpendicular to the particular course that we need for our particular approach. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take our aircraft and I'm going to bring it a little bit more perpendicular to it as we're kind of swinging around here like this. A little bit more. Basically, we want to bring ourselves straight to the west. That's a little pretty good right there. We're doing about 250. We're a little fast, but nothing dangerous. And it looks pretty darn good to me. Nice. Very nice. I like that right there, actually. Just a couple taps of up trim, make it a little bit simpler for us. We're going to continue our little descent here. I'm taking a look at the approach plate here. We need to be 2,600 feet. So we're getting pretty darn close to that right now. So we're cruising just nice here. Looking pretty, as they say. All right, enjoy a nice gentle right turn. Just going to take a peek out the window real quickly here. Get a nice look of Albany as we're coming by. You can see the airport pretty clearly right there on my right. And we're going to start slowing down. One of the great things that our developer did for us is they provided us with all our critical speeds, including our approach speed and our threshold speed. You can see we need to be doing $1.46 or so on final. Actually, not final. We need about $1.60 on final. We need about $1.46 over the fence, which is pretty good. And again, just take a look at Albany right there. Getting close to our altitudes there. We're a little, just about to our 2,600 feet. And keep in mind, we're a little tight too. So we're going to have to take that into account and be slightly below it. There we go. I'm just enjoying a nice, relaxing descent. Like I said, nothing too chaotic here. We're under our 200 knots. This thing slows down fast. About 176 is our recommended pattern speed. So I'm going to bring in the power nice and early. Remember, there are no flaps, so you don't have to put up with any of that. There we go. It's looking really good. I'm actually going to hold this right around here. And all we're waiting for right now is everything to kind of swing. We're going to have that happen in just a second. Swing down here, get our autopilot all queued up and ready to go. I just like to pull out the power switch just to get ready. We're going to make sure, oh no, get back here. Make sure that's ready to go. We'll make sure this is ready to, track is ready to go. We're going to make sure that's ready to go. And we're going to just give that the engage pull once we get a little bit closer there. Airspeed is right on the money, right on the money. And there's our airfield. Let's go ahead and, whoa! How many times have you done that before? Pretty good. I'm just going to start engaging ourselves in a nice relaxing turn. And we're going to overshoot just a bit here, but that's perfectly fine. There is our warning for stall. And we're ready to go ahead and line up. There's our runway. Landing gear down. I have automatic parachute enabled, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, if we wanted, we could actually enable the speed brakes, which you can see popping out the top there. Those are those huge speed brakes. And now our approach speed is about $1.46. Looking down at our ILS indicators there. you can see we're just about right on, actually. And I can stick my head down. I can actually get a pretty good look at the airfield itself as I start to stabilize a little bit. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Nice. We're looking, like I said, about 161 on approach. A little slow. Remember, we're a 1950s jet engine, so it takes a very long time for that to kick in. It's good. Pretty smooth, pretty smooth. Put a pause right here. Now, if we wanted to, we could actually engage the automatic pilot to help us out here. All we'd have to do is come down here. We could do approach hold just by arming everything, and then we could come over here and press the engage button, and then we'll go ahead and engage it. But for this, I'm going to keep it kind of simple as far as our approach goes, and we'll just fly this one by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and unpause. We can see ourselves getting lined up. Get a little more power here. A little tiny bit high. Looks good. Kicking me, it's telling me real quickly that we're a little high. You can actually see the little yellow line right there. The one right there. I'll show it with my mouse. This shows how high off glide slope we are. So you can see we're high. I really hate it when developers design airplanes so that their head is tipped down by default. Please don't do that, folks. Let us decide where our head should be. Right on glide path. We're just slightly off to the side. Looking good, looking good. Pull up just a tiny bit there. Speed's a little low, but that's okay. We need to be a little slower the fence. Put over the fence. Throttle to 0. Speed breaks out. Goes up just a little bit. Now this is one of the more irritating parts of this airplane. There is our ground. We're going to hold the nose up. Again, we're just trying to bleed a little bit of speed here. And there we go. We're just going to let the nose slowly come down. There we go. Parachute comes out. Speed brakes are out. And you can see this takes very, very, very little to get this thing back down to a slow speed here. And just like that, we have succeeded. So a couple things to keep an eye out for during that approach there. One thing, of course, is that a glide path is indicated by a yellow line here. Our localizer's over here. And like I was saying with the autopilot, it's going to be a little picky with you. It's definitely something that you just want to be kind of mindful of as you're coming in for your approaches. Aha, you can see one of them actually reset on me. And we can go ahead and reset that one as well to do that. Now, if you're wondering how we're going to make the giant parachute come off, it actually comes off automatically. You just have to be mindful that when you do your approaches here, that you can gauge it that way. Look at that. We made it. And now one of the fun things I think, of course, as I did this is one continuous series of videos. It's very amusing to see just how much fuel that we burned for this particular trip here. And that's one of the things I think is so cool. So if we come down here, you can actually see that was 10,000 pounds of fuel. But other than that, this is a pretty cool plane. One thing I did do with it is I did try it out in VR, and it was too laggy to be playable, which put a sad smile on my face. It is a neat plane to look around the interior just to see how kind of old school and kind of your seating position and everything like that. But it's, like I said, just a little different, and it's great. If this is something that you want to get, like I said, I think it's about $30 on the marketplace. Not endorsing it or not endorsing, I'm just saying if this looks like something that you'd be interested in, definitely check it out. The startup was a little tricky at first, but once I kind of got the hang of it, it wasn't that bad. Kind of wish the navigational features and electrical stuff was a little bit more involved, but it's a really, really cool plane, and of course it is a Cold War hero. Enjoy.